the most realistic online racing sim ever made. This is iRacing. Detailed laser scan tracks, fully dynamic real-world cars, and over 50 series to choose from. 6 online world championships offering over $100,000 in annual prizes. This is the original esport racing game. This is iRacing.
Welcome back once again, race fans, here to the Turn 3 Racing Network. Tonight, Performance Motorsports Truck Series fires things off here at Auto Club Speedway for the West Side Remix 110. That's right, drivers having to pack up and vacate Indianapolis Motor Speedway overnight. Had to get the machines all out here to Auto Club. We'll get into some of that just a little bit later through tonight's broadcast. How you doing? How you feeling out there in TV land, race fans? Glad you could all join us here tonight on the Turn 3 Racing Network. As always, Darkside Dave in the cave bringing you all the calls from the trackside here in Swift Motorsports. And looks like qualifying already underway, so let's go ahead, get a little closer to that action. Go ahead and throw some of that timing and scoring up there to the top left-hand side of your screen. There you can see already about halfway through this 5-minute qualifying, drivers putting down some quick times already here tonight. Caden Atkins was fastest in happy hour. That Ford Mustang top of the board once again. Quick time 42:01 for Atkins, and he's about a tenth faster than Todd Cray right there. Big shout out to you, Jess, out there in the chat. I beat you to it. Ha ha, got you this week. Well, with just a few moments here left before these drivers do begin to hit the starting grid, want to keep in mind tonight's race number 10 here in season number 2, is the final regular season race. So it's time for some of these drivers to make their way into a chase spot. We'll get into some of your championship standings here after just a brief break to head down trackside for the national anthem. So with that being said, race fans, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly wailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets regular, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Back trackside after the Jets done flying over, getting the crowd up on their feet, ready to go racing here tonight from Auto Club Speedway. We said we'd get to some championship standings coming in to tonight's race, the cutoff race for the start of the chase here in season number 2. This is race number 10. Once again, your championship points look a little something like this coming into tonight's West Side Remix 110. Todd Cray right there safely into the championship chase. Alan Young, Caden Atkins, as well as Michael Atkins Jr., Jim Thorndike, Jason Ayerson, pretty comfortable with his spot as well. Nick Hunt, Edward Bray, Andy Starcher, Sebastian Guggen, Larry Poling, and Brian Hitz. Those are the drivers to keep your eye on. Those are the drivers slotted in right now, but look how close. Chris Scala, Austin Hill, very close as well, but not looking like Hill has made the trip from Indianapolis Motor Speedway out here to Auto Club. So looks like Hill shot at a championship run may come to an end. Jimmy Cormier right there as well, very close, very doable. Ryan Branchew, Ron Schutte has a shot as well as Lee Staples. Outside chance looking in, but Staples, should he have a solid run in that 5 car here tonight, he very well may find himself with a shot to race his way down into the championship. Each and every race is going to mean a ton over the next few weeks. And as we said, tonight's race originally scheduled for Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Some bad testing going on over there. So, due to protocols, we just went ahead and played it safe, packed things up, and said, you know what, where's free? Where can we go? Auto Club extended a hand. So we went ahead, told the drivers, they all jumped ship, got in their haulers, and got their Performance Motorsports Truck Series machines here just in time for happy hour. So drivers, not a lot of time on the track here tonight for this race, but they are going to put on a show. I can guarantee you that. They do each and every time they hit the track. Final few drivers rolling through a pre-race inspection. It does look like most of the drivers are beginning to hit that starting grid, and there you hear that familiar sound in the background, those bells tolling. It's time to run down tonight's The starting lineup for the West Side. Remix 110 walking away with the pole position here tonight inside row number 1. The 2 of Caden Atkins. Lining up just to his outside, yet to make his way through pre-race inspection, Todd Cray, your points leader, coming into tonight's racing. Cray got one of the biggest fan bases out there in TV land, so big shout out to everybody out there. Ryan Branch, you gonna slot inside row number 2. John Rinrich right there just to his outside. Rinrich went to victory lane last week. Do keep him on your radar. That 30 very quick last week. Alan Young gonna round out your top 5 here tonight with John McMillan Jr. just to his outside. Rolling off the starting grid here tonight in that 7th position, Michael Atkins Jr. Edward Bray gonna bring his 66 machine into the 8th starting spot, while Jonathan Holston lines up inside row number 5. Rounding out your top 10, the 44 of Jason Ayerson. Brian Hitz and Jim Thorndike make up row number 6. Here tonight, row number 7, the 00 of Nick Hunt, followed by the 84 of Sebastian Guggen. The 4 of Jim Mott, followed by Ron Schutte. They'll make up row number 8 here tonight. Timothy Smith gonna line his 37 machine up in the 17th starting spot, while Lee Staples outside looking in on a chase spot. He's gonna start outside and just barely inside that top 20 in the 18th starting position. Matching numbers on the truck and on the starting grid, the 19 of Andy Starcher out of Hyperdrive Motorsports will line that familiar Monster Energy machine up in the 19th starting spot. David Cameron gonna line up in the 20th. The 95 of Jimmy Cormier gonna line up in the 21st starting position, while the 13 of Ryan Douglas gonna line up just to his outside. Shane Bliss, Stephen Ayers Jr. will make up row number 12 here tonight. Row 13. Matthew Highmore in the 11 of Chris Scala. John McMillan Sr. in that 75 gonna have a lot of ground to make up here tonight. He'll slot in the 27th starting position. Jarrett Lipster right there in that 99 machine. Gary Wells and Larry Poling also here at the track. Very big field here tonight. A lot of drivers with a chance and an opportunity to chase their championship hopes and dreams for the rest of this season. Season number 2 here for the Performance Motorsports Truck Series on the Turn 3 Racing Network. How you doing? How you feeling out there in Raceland TV fans? Glad you could all join us here tonight for another hot and heavy, highly important race here in the Performance Motorsports Truck Series. Looks like we do have all the drivers that were scheduled for the start to make the start. And Matthew Highmore, he's got some issues. He's going to have to reset back to pit road, so Highmore going to be a little bit behind the 8 ball before things even get going tonight. Ford Mustang pace car down and away. Field makes their way through the tri-oval. Ready to go. Green flag racing for the first time here tonight. And off we go. Green flag flies here at Auto Club. Everybody getting up through the gears. Everybody looks nice and smooth right now. Caden Atkins leads this field down on that inside. The 21 of Todd Cray gonna stay to that high side now. Drop to the bottom, line up, nose to tail. Big move by John Winrich. Winrich with a big wiggle there off of turn number 2. He's stacked up. He's got Ryan Branchew right behind him. And Branchew has got Alan Young breathing down his neck. Young gonna look to the inside. Jim Ott making up some time, as well as Lee Staples. He's going to pick up a spot, make him a little bit closer to that top 15. Ryan Douglas back there struggling just a little bit, just outside of your top 20 as we continue to watch this battle right here Michael Atkins Jr. lined up down there. He's got Jonathan Holston just behind him. Branchew falling to the wayside just a little bit. There you can see Edward Bray also back behind this field. So a lot of drivers still nose to tail and very early here tonight, but let's check back on your race leader, Caden Atkins. He continues to lead. Todd Cray right there is Winrich in that third spot. Lots of battles all over the speedway. We'll jump back here with this one as Jim Ott looks to the inside of Sebastian Guggen. That's going to open the door for Lee Staples as well. Staples going to look for some ground in turn one. Fastest time on the track last time by goes to that 41 of Michael Atkins Jr. He ran a 42.18. That's about almost a tenth faster than the next driver out there on the track, so putting it down early here. Michael Atkins Jr. just nowhere to go, can't really go anywhere at this point in time. A little bit of that does come from some draft help. Going to go a little further through the field. Let's highlight a battle just outside of your top 20. There you can see Andy Starcher, Chris Scala, Ryan Douglas. They're all packed up with each other right now as John McMillan Sr. has made a pass on Stephen Ayers Jr. Jimmy Cormier also going to make a pass for the 18th spot. He's going to take that spot away from Timothy Smith. So Smith falling to the wayside just a little bit. Now he's going to lose yet another spot. Starcher going to make his way around on the outside, and he's going to be right there breathing down the neck of Jimmy Cormier here in just the next corner or so. So lots of drivers moving up through the field very early here tonight in the West Side Remix 110. Going to jump just back up front, just outside of your top 10. There you can see that double O of Nick Hunt. He's running a solid 11th place right now. Jim Thorndike just in front of him. Jason Ayerson, Jim Ott, and Brian Hitz all the way back to Lee Staples in that 15th spot. They're all tucked up with each other. Just up in front of them, battle for a spot just inside of the top 5. There you can see Alan Young, Jonathan Holston. They're battling for a spot right now. Branchew on the bottom trying to take a spot from Holston. That's going to bring Bray and McMillan right there up into the mix as well. So John Jr. with a fine run so far here tonight as we cross the line to begin lap number 6 here tonight out of the 110 scheduled in the official race distance. Small little packs all through this field. There you can see your front pack will go up, give them a little bit of camera time as well, give them their duly deserved dues. Did that make any sense? Your top 5 all nose to tail. There you can see that little 5-car pack, then another 4-car pack just behind them. Branchew, Bray, Holston, and McMillan Jr. all right there inside the top 9. Then a little bit bigger pack back there running with Jim Thorndike, Jim Ott, Nick Hunt, as well as Jason Ayerson, Lee Staples, and Brian Hitz. Also up in the mix, Sebastian Guggen and Ron Schutte just on the tail end of that last little big pack. Then we've got a little bit of separation back to Jimmy Cormier, Tim Smith, Chris Scala, and John McMillan Sr. They are falling to the wayside just a little bit here. Very early here. And it looks like, unfortunately, we have had a driver claimed by Auto Club here tonight. Matthew Highmore scored off the track right now. I believe he will be your very first retirement of the race. Looks like that machine is back behind pit wall. So the 79 not even being able to get to the start here tonight as we've got a battle for the top spot. Michael Atkins Jr., he wants the lead, digs the bottom, looking for the front now down the backstretch. He'll pull even and now pulled past Caden Atkins with some help from Todd Cray. Cray looking to the bottom, opening up that spot just a little bit was Michael Atkins Jr. Now that dirty air right across the nose of the 21 machine. Cray's going to use that advantage, that slipstream and draft just to make himself get by. He'll gain 1 spot here now up to the second position, but we've got a new race leader for the first time here tonight. Michael Atkins Jr. leads the field into turn number 1. Alan Young in the 86, he's been able to follow through and make his way around Caden Atkins as he begins to fall now through the field because Winrich has also made a pass. So that too falling back from 1st to 5th, all within the course of about one full lap. And what a race, man. What a run up through the front. Up 6 spots from where he started tonight's race. Now leading the field and starting to separate himself just a little bit. Hashtag the beast is here. Michael Atkins Jr. in that 41 looking strong out there tonight. Alan Young going to take a spot away from Cray. Cray going to give up the bottom, and he'll give that second spot to Alan Young. Going to jump back once again to another small little battle. Going to jump back to this one right here because Ryan Branchew, he has been all over John McMillan Jr. for the past 3 or 4 laps, all over that rear deck lid, but not able to carry enough speed to get himself by and make a pass. Now Bray will battle with Branchew on the bottom. Jamont looking to follow through on the bottom as well, so that's going to hurt Branchew. He'll lose 2 spots in 2 corners. Not much to be said at the front of this field. There we go. We'll go back up front one more time here, show you this action as these trucks, these top 5 are separated now to just 4, and it looks like we're beginning to see even more separation very early here tonight from Auto Club Speedway. 220 miles scheduled in the official race distance. That's right, 2-mile D-shaped oval here. Cross country all the way on the West Coast out here in sunny California for tonight's West Side Remix. 110 drivers have been green and clean since the drop of the green flag here tonight. Timothy Smith now breaks himself inside the top 20, so slowly making up some of the spots that he had lost from this start. Very quick pace already here tonight. Fall off doesn't look to be too bad so far. Looks like these drivers have fallen off right at about a half a second or so. So the tire damage is going to be, the tire wear, I should say, is going to be quite catastrophic for a few of these drivers, I think. And has he worn out those tires? Because Michael Atkins Jr. now under fire from Alan Young. He's going to hunt the front on the bottom, catfishing through 1 and 2. Not able to keep it wound up enough to keep that top spot away from Michael Atkins Jr., who powers around the outside. Gonna take that spot back. Todd Craig loses a little bit more ground. He's gonna drop now back to the 4th position. And where did Josh Winrich come from? Renwich up 2 spots from where he started tonight's race. So he started inside of that top 5, but all of a sudden there you see him up in the 2nd spot. Now he's looking for that race lead down on the bottom of 3 and 4, looking for more. Can he take that spot away? Slide up the track off of the exit of 4 here. Looks like he's going to clear. Slide job complete. Michael Atkins Jr. looked for the crossover. It's going to get blocked by Winrich, and he will lead a lap. Big time blocking early here tonight. Wanting to get those lap lead points very desperately. Man, what a mix-up right here for that top spot. Drivers still battling throughout the field, though. We'll jump back for a spot just inside of your top 10 before we come back up front. There you can see Jason Ayerson. He's trying to make up some ground on Lee Staples. Staples right there running in your top 10. Last driver inside the top 10, so that is a very coveted spot right now for Jason Ayerson. one of those drivers that's got to be careful about how he approaches tonight's race and got to be careful not to lose too much going for the gusto. A few more battles out there on track. 3 truck, make it a 4 truck battle as a matter of fact. There you can see Brian Hitz, Jonathan Holston, Nick Hunt, and Ron Schutte all right there battling for positions just inside and outside of your top 15. That is 14th, 15th, 16th, and 17th on the track. Very different lines ran by all of the drivers out there tonight here in the Performance Motorsports Truck Series. It looks like the absolute preferred line is down there on the bottom of the speedway, but drivers utilizing that middle entry and turn number 1, then dropping late down in the apex of the corner, trying to carry as much speed as they can off of the corners. And there you can see just how much speed they are carrying, shaking the cameras on the walls here tonight at Auto Club Speedway. And I tell you what, why don't we go back up front once again with your race leader, Josh Winrich. Three trucks now separating themselves from the field. Winrich, Atkins Jr., and Alan Young, your top 3, your podium spot runners right here. Very early to call them podium spots. Only on lap number 18 out of the 110 scheduled in tonight's official race distance. But if things were to end right now, that would be your top 3. John McMillan Jr. as well as Todd Cray. They are falling about 1.5 seconds or so off of those top 3. And there you can see Todd Cray sitting back now in that 5th position as he loses yet another spot to John McMillan Jr. heading towards the front. Where's your pole sitter? There's your pole sitter right there. That 2 Ford F-150 of Caden Atkins slotted in right there in the 6th spot. So he's lost 5 positions from where he started tonight's race as your pole sitter. And he's got a hard charging Edward Bray right there behind him, closing in quite quickly. Gonna jump to a battle just outside of your top 10 as there you can see Yes, that is Jason Erson just inside of your top 10 now. Jim Thorndike, Sebastian Guggen, and Ryan Branchew all battling right there for position. And Jim Ott going to come to pit road. What has happened to Jim Ott? Very interesting here tonight. Jim Ott as well as Jimmy Cormier, both of those drivers on the pit road, and it does excuse me, my goodness. And it does appear that they are scheduled pit stops. Just 15 seconds in the box for Jimmy Cormier, so that was definitely a planned stop for that 95 crew. The 4 of Jim Ott going to come down to pit road. I do believe he will cycle off the lead lap. And Jason Erson going to pull off this time and come down pit road. How will drivers split this race up here tonight? Looks like we do got a few of them, and a little bit of issues there for one of the drivers we were hooked on. Top 3 remain the same. John Winrich, followed by Michael Atkins Jr., Alan Young. Rounds out those top 3. John McMillan Jr. right there in 4th, and Todd Cray finishes out your top 5. Close battle. Check this one out right there. You can see Larry Poling and Chris Scala. They're battling for a spot inside the top 20. Scala running in that 20th spot, and Poling looking to the bottom. He's going to take that 20th spot away. Scala pulls right down behind on the rear deck lid, trying to upset a little bit of the air flow over that rear deck lid. Not going to be able to do much about it right now, as Scala going to lose that spot. Sebastian Guggen right here as well, beginning to battle with Jim Thorndike. Lee Staples just off in front. There you can see that 5 machine just about 4 truck lengths off in front of the battle between Guggen and Thorndike. Seb gonna win the battle for now as Todd Cray breaks away for pit road. He'll pit from the 5th position, give up some time, but will he make it up on the back end? How long will Winrich, Atkins, and Young stay out on the track as they now enjoy a 2.7 second gap back to the 4th place runner, John McMillan Jr. Todd Craze joined by Timothy Smith, Stephen Ayers Jr., and Andy Starcher to pit road that time by. So we do have a vast mix of truck drivers coming down to pit road here tonight for Swift Motorsports. All of these drivers running hard, and we've got your top 5 all coming to pit road all together. Anybody else gonna stay out? Looks like Lee Staples is gonna attempt it, willing to risk it for the biscuit early here tonight. Will that 5 make it another lap? You gotta be careful not to run out of fuel at a place like this. It is very hard to make your way all the way around this track once you have running out of fuel. And there you can see that 44 of Jason Ayerson back up to speed, hard charging. He'll get himself back on to the lead lap. The rest of the field has already made their first green flag pit stop of the night. Do look for Lee Staples and Ron Schutte to bring their machines to pit road this time by, and there you see it. Staples to pit road. What will Schutte do? The 28 gonna peel off. He'll come to pit road this time by. Once again, we'll jump back now. See where this battle goes between Michael Atkins Jr. There you can see all those drivers, but look at this. The man that pitted first, Todd Cray, right there coming up through the field. He's got a head of steam. And what a job by those top 3 to be able to get on and off pit road, back up to speed, and keep Todd Cray at bay for just a slight moment. New race leader to the point here tonight. Todd Cray puts the 21 in command of this race, but how long can he keep that 21 out there? The battle back there for 2nd, 3rd, and 4th now hot and heavy between Michael Atkins Jr., Alan Young, and Josh Winrich. Jim Ott with a big gain on that pit stop. Man, the 4 now inside your top 5 and within striking distance of these race leaders. Little bit of a jumble and a mix-up. We'll jump back outside your top 5. That's 6th and 7th on the track. John McMillan Jr. being chased down by Caden Atkins right there. Your pole sitter not having a very good go right here tonight, has lost 6 spots from where he started tonight's race. Atkins gonna slot in that 7th spot for now. We'll see if he can make up a little ground throughout the rest of tonight's race. Jason Ayerson back here still making a little bit of headway before the green flag pit stops. Ayerson was just inside your top 10 and now running in the 9th spot, looking for more. Searching for some more battles on the speedway. We'll jump back here to this little battle that's beginning to develop. Look at these 2 drivers side by side with each other. There you can see Nick Hunt. He is slowly beginning to make his way up towards Ryan Branchew. There you see the lap machine going by Nick Hunt right now. And I believe that, who is that? Ryan Branchew, Ron Schutte after a late pit stop. What a recovery there by that 28. He's slotted in the 11th position, and he will have have some of the freshest tires for the rest of this run. There you can see the teammates side by side into turns 1 and 2. Oh, big time sideways. The 28 goes around. Caution! Flag flies for the first time here tonight off of turn number 2 right here at Auto Club Speedway. You've seen it right on your screen. We'll take another look at this, see how it all went down. There you can see already sideways was the 28. Shooty, a little bit loose and nowhere to go for his teammate, trying to go up the track just a little bit. And he's going to give him a little bit of kiss right there. Send him sideways. That will bring him right up in front of Nick Hunt. That 00 catching a little bit of a piece of that. Doesn't look like it was too bad for Hunt. So I tell you what, let's go on with an onboard camera shot if we can here. Let's see if they can get that queued up for us. Looks like they do indeed have us with a thumbs up. So let's take a look from the cockpit. And yeah, just nowhere to go for Nick Hunt right there to 00. On the brakes, trying to woe up, trying to stay out of it. But unfortunately, catching a little piece there at the end. So we'll rejoin the race live once again as the field makes their way down pit road. There you can see Michael Atkins Jr. leading a long train of cars down pit road. Will any of the lap down cars attempt to stay out, get themselves back on the lead lap with a wave around very early, just after a round of green flag pit stop. So I do believe we may see a few of those drivers attempt that. So with that being said, we're going to step away for a brief side-by-side commercial break. Don't go anywhere, race fans. We'll be right back. Back trackside as the field double files up, ready to go. Back green flag racing for the second time here tonight. First caution, innocent little spin off of turn 2 between some teammates. Todd Cray will have control over this restart, waiting for it. Green flag flies as Cray hits the loud pedal, and away we go. Cray getting away from the field very quickly on this restart. He's not wasting any time. Alan Young right there slotted in with Michael Atkins Jr. Josh Winrich looks to the bottom. He looks to take that fourth spot away. Drivers all nose to tail all through this field. There you can see some big moves back through the pack. Drivers jumping out of line, trying to gain a little bit of ground very early before things can get themselves spread out. There you see Winrich looking to the inside now of Michael Atkins Jr., the 41. Gonna have to go up the track a little bit. That's gonna give him a little bit of a loss of ground, a little bit less momentum. Preferred line is that inside lane, and Winrich gonna carry that back into turn number 1. Still trying to take that third spot away. Still hot and heavy battles all the way back through the top 15. We'll take a look at Jonathan Holston. There you can see him going by in his 73 machine. All these drivers packed up with each other right now. Timothy Smith, Nick Hunt, Larry Poling, Jimmy Cormier, and Jim Thorndike. What has happened to that 59 GTR simulator machine? That Chevy Silverado is down 8 spots from where he started tonight's race, all the way back now in the 20th position. Holston right there looking for a spot on David Cameron. Cameron right there running in the 14th position. Ryan Douglas just inside the top 15, running in that 13th spot right now. Quick time on the speedway. Michael Atkins Jr. gonna ump the ante just a little bit with a 42 flat. That's getting it. Speeds exceeding those of qualifying. Your pole position, your pole sitter Caden Atkins won the pole award here tonight with a 42.01. So these drivers already exceeding those qualifying speeds. Does have a little bit to do with the draft. We'll take a look back at the front once again with Todd Cray, Michael Atkins Jr., Alan Young slotted in that third spot. Caden Atkins Jr. Caden Atkins right there in the 4th spot. And what happened to Josh Winrich? Looks like he has lost a little bit of ground now, battling side by side with Jim Ott. Down on the inside, still hugging that inside lane. That seems to be where Winrich really likes to put his 30 truck, really where the trucks work the best. You're able to utilize way more of the track if you need to scoot up, if it's a little bit tight, a little bit loose, to kind of wiggle it up the track, if you will. Man, what a battle. Now Michael Atkins Jr. looks to the bottom, heading down the back stretch. He looks to gain that top spot back. Will we have yet another lead change at the front? Here comes Atkins Jr. Alan Young looking to the bottom. He's going to help out that 41 machine of Michael Atkins Jr. 3 wide for the race lead off of turn 4 for just a brief moment there. Michael Atkins Jr. will prevail, will take that top spot at the line. He'll jump to the top now to cover the run coming from that 21 truck. Todd Cray, one of the first drivers to jump to the high side. We'll have to wait to see if anybody else follows suit, because there is battles all over this speedway. Gonna jump back now to this battle, still raging on, still going on between David Cameron, Ryan Douglas, and Jonathan Holston right there, 13th, 14th, and 15th on the speedway. Drivers needing to have a good race here tonight, and it looks like a few drivers that needed those good runs may be having a little bit of trouble. Andy Starcher, one of those drivers that needed a very good run here tonight, sitting just in the 10th position, just 2 spots in front of that chase cutoff. Starcher not having the best run right now, running back there in the 22nd position, down 3 spots from where he started tonight's race. So Starcher going the wrong way. Sebastian Guggen, driver that rounded out your top 10. He is being scored off of the lead lap in the 25th position, so needing to cover a little bit of points here and not going the right way for that 84. Speaking of not going the right way, there you can see the 21 of Todd Cray not going the right way right now. He has fallen from that top spot, now back to third and into the clutches. Oh, big move to the bottom. That was, contact. Winrich all the way down at the bottom. Don't know, not sure if the two spotter seen the 84 make that drop down. I apologize, that's the 30 of Winrich, not the 84, but Winrich was down there. A little bit of contact between the 30 and the 2. No harm, no foul. Well, those drivers continue, and now that's going to stack up a few more drivers just behind them. Jim Ott, John McMillan Jr., as well as Edward Bray and Lee Staples up in the mix as well. Battle for that race lead. Here comes Alan Young looking for the top spot. He'll have it at the bottom of the speedway. He's looking to get a little bit more. Can he get the job done? Very close racing action here tonight from Auto Club Speedway. There you can see these two drivers going to stay stacked up side by side through 1 and 2. Alan Young going to have a little slight advantage. Slide jump out of turn 2. Man, what a move there by Young. Barely clear now, the crossover late going into turn number 3. Atkins Jr. looks for that top spot. Once again, he'll dig on the bottom. Now Todd Cray back into that third spot. So lost a little bit of ground, but now moving to the front, and Jim Ott's in the wall. Jim Ott into the wall off of turn 4. Look at him drop like a rock right now. My goodness, that was a tough lick off of that outside wall. We'll jump back to this battle at the front of the field, though. Alan Young, Michael Atkins Jr., they continue to battle side by side, and that's allowing Todd Cray and Josh Winrich to make their way back up towards the front. Now Winrich going to drop to the bottom, look for that third spot on Cray. Drivers back to pit road. Looks like Chris Scala has brought his 11 Toyota Tundra back down to pit road for full service. 4 tires and fuel for the 11 of Chris Scala. Looks like Scala may have broke the transmission when they dropped the jack. They are pushing that truck back behind pit wall, so claiming just the second victim here tonight in the West Side Remix 110 for the Performance Motorsports Truck Series right here on the Turn 3 Racing Network. Matthew Highmore, now Chris Scala going behind pit wall. 3-car battle for the race lead. Atkins Jr., Winrich, and Alan Young mixing it up in big time block there by Michael Atkins Jr. He continues to try to keep Winrich down on the bottom of the speedway. Pinch him down just a little bit. Winrich not having any of it. He'll take that inside lane, now looking for that top spot off of turn number 2. Not going to get there. Drag race down the backstretch. Do have some more battles on the track to speak of. Larry Poling has passed Andy Starcher. That was for the 21st spot just moments ago. Michael Atkins Jr. made his way by Alan Young, and now you can see him trying to make it a 2x2 battle for yet a third lap here with Josh Winrich. And we're seeing these drivers make runs, fall back, because look at Todd Cray. He was right there, almost in that top spot one more time, and now he is back in that 4th position with just a little bit of a gap between himself and Alan Young. Winrich persevering on the bottom. Here comes that crossover. Michael Atkins Jr. tried the crossover, but not. Oh, man, that was close. Barely squeezing that 41 truck just between Winrich and Young. So Michael Atkins Jr., man, he is doing everything he needs to do, everything he can do to keep that truck up there in the front of the field. Gonna jump back now as this has calmed down just a little bit at the front. Why don't we jump back here with a battle for the top 10 spot. Looky here. Jim Ott with some trouble into the outside wall. He's continuing to fight for spots and almost contact again. Ott has to go way up the speedway and he'll lose that spot and be in danger of giving up yet another spot to the 22 of Brian Hitz. Hitz actually gonna take that spot away. Now Ott's got a deal with Thorndike as the 59 makes his way to the bottom of the track. There you can see him just inside of Jim Ott. We'll watch this battle unfold because it's going to bring Jonathan Holston back up into the mix as Thorndike slides right across the nose of Jim Ott. He'll take that spot away. Another small battle to speak of. Let's look at this one on the track right here. Ryan Branchew, Nick Hunt, both of these drivers trying to gain a little bit more ground, and Nick Hunt pretty safe in the mix here, sitting right at about the 7th spot on the point standing. So one of those drivers that's somewhat safe does still have to turn in a good finish here tonight, running in the 20th spot. May get it done, but I know he is not feeling very comfortable about that spot. The 62 Toyota Tundra of Stephen Ayers Jr. makes his way to pit road this time by, so it does indeed look like those green flag pit stops about maybe 5 to 10 laps away, so look for multiple drivers to begin to step down to pit road. Alan Young now taking over that second spot as we jump back up front with your race leader, and Young looking for more. He'll drop to the bottom, look for that top spot. New race leader through the center of 1 and 2. He's going to try to slide up the track. Looks like slide jobs and crossovers gonna be the theme here tonight in the Westside Remix 110 for Performance Motorsports Truck Series. Tune in week and week out right here to the Turn 3 Racing Network, your home for Swift Motorsports. Still a hot and heavy battle at the front of this field for the race lead. This has been a battle between multiple different cars up here, multiple different truck drivers at the front of this field, battling over and over, lap in and lap out, just swapping that race lead back and forth as powering around on the outside. Winrich gonna take that top spot away, and here comes John McMillan Jr. Where did he come from? Jimmy Cormier gonna bring his 95 machine down to pit road for some service as well as tires. So indeed, those green flag pit stops are beginning to already begin. Your top 4, throw them under a blanket, all within 1 second of each other. Todd Cray sitting right there in that 5th spot. He is just over a second back from your race leader. So all 4 of these drivers right here mixing it up side by side, lap after lap. That is what is helping some of these drivers behind them, because here comes Edward Bray and Lee Staples. They're going to join forces with each other and try to make their way up there to Todd Cray. And, well, 3 trucks going to go faster than just the one, so look for Cray to close some ground once some help arrives. One more battle besides the few you see already on your screen as Josh Winrich keeps Alan Young behind, and here comes Michael Atkins Jr. to the bottom once again. Ron Schutte gonna bring his 28 machine to pit road. Looks like Jonathan Holston also on and out, down, back off of pit road. Nick Hunt gonna pull off that 00, and he will come to pit road as well, this time by. Gonna look back at this battle just outside of your top 15. It is a battle for the last spot in the top 15. Ryan Douglas has it. Timothy Smith wants it. There you see the 13 and 37 battling side by side through 3 and 4 as Jason Ayerson brings his 44 machine to pit road, and looks like Timothy Smith going to come down as well. So that's going to go ahead and end that battle. Why don't we jump to this little battle going on between these drivers. There you can see David Cameron, Jim Thorndike, Brian Hitz all lined up with each other on the track. That's 10th, 11th, and 12th on the speedway. Whoa, big time moment back there again for Jim Ott. Oh my goodness. And what has happened to Jimmy Cormier? Jimmy Cormier looks like he may have had an incident here. No caution flag coming out, but let's go see what it says down there on the replay as we've got drivers hitting pit road for their green flag pit stops. Michael Atkins Jr., Caden Atkins, John Jr., as well as Jim Thorndike, Brian Hitz, Jim Ott, and Ryan Douglas all to pit road this time by. That's going to leave Josh Winrich as well as John McMillan Jr., Alan Young, Todd Cray, Edward Bray, Lee Staples, and David Cameron out on the track yet to make their second green flag pit stop. So we'll go ahead and check that replay, see what happened to Cormier. There you can see that 95 already pounded that inside wall. So tough break there for that 95 as we join your race leader who's heading down pit road. All your top 6 all down to pit road. 7 now as Cameron brings it down to pit road as well. Ryan Branchew yet to make his next stop, and there you can see it. There you have it. He's going to go ahead and pull to pit road now. Michael Atkins Jr. very well may have the lead of this race, but look at this. Want to give a big time shout out to this driver right here. He was able to make up some spots there under this last green flag pit stop, but what about the guy right behind him? Jason Ayerson coming to pit road about 2 laps before your race leaders as we've got smoke off of turn 4. Drivers on the binders trying to get it woed up and woed down for pit road. Looks like one driver absolutely blew that pit stop, and that is, I believe, Michael Atkins Jr. right there. Very slow on the speedway there for a moment was Michael Atkins Jr. And what has happened to that 41? Michael Atkins Jr. was battling for that top spot. Now he finds himself way back behind the field, all the way running in the 9th position, about 8 seconds from the race lead. Looking at timing and scoring, doesn't seem like very much went on there for Michael Atkins Jr. No real trouble listed or anything like that, so not really sure how it all happened, how it all went down, but losing some ground there on that pit cycle, losing some big ground. Michael Atkins Jr. all the way back now to just inside your top 10. Running in the 9th spot, we'll jump back at the front of this field. Battle now for 2nd, 3rd, and 4th as John Winrich was able to step away to a 2.5 second race advantage over these 3 drivers packed up with each other. There you can see Alan Young just in front of that 15. John Jr. leading Todd Cray, who's got your pole sitter, Caden Atkins, just behind him, about 3 truck lengths back to the 66 of Edward Bray, who's got Jason Ayerson right there, nipping at the bud, looking for some spots. Here comes Cray, looking to the inside of that 15, not going to carry the speed to make that pass just yet as drivers fan out on the front stretch. Going to jump back to yet another battle on the speedway. This is a battle just for the 10th, 11th, 12th position on the track. There you can see Jim Thorndike, John McMillan Sr., as well as Jonathan Holston, the 73, last of those drivers in line. There you can see that's, it looks like it's a white maybe a little bit dirty out there. That's silver in baby blue. 73 of Jonathan Holston continues a good run here, has dropped 3 spots from where he started tonight's race, but still running very strong. Just a handful of laps past the halfway point. More battles on the speedway. Let's go back, highlight this 3-truck battle on the speedway. Timothy Smith, Ryan Douglas, and Ron Schutte all looking for some spots, looking for some position. And here comes that 28 down on the bottom of the speedway. He'll take a spot away from Nick Hunt, looking for more now. Can he get by Smith and Douglas? Smith drops to the bottom right in front of that 28 of Ron Schutte. That's going to slow him down just a little bit, while the 13 of Douglas able to run that high line, able to keep the momentum up, keep his foot on the gas a little bit longer on the entry and get back into the gas just a little bit sooner, as well as now dropping back to the bottom once again in turn 1. Douglas looks for that spot, but not going to be able to keep Timothy Smith behind him. Slide job not going to work. Not going to have enough time to bring it back up the track. So Smith going to have the spot for the time being, but will that outside run prevail through 3 and 4? Four trucks battling for position, and that is outside of your top 15. So if that doesn't tell you how important these points are here tonight in race number 10 of season number 2 for the Performance Motorsports Truck Series, that's right, it's the regular season finale here tonight in the West Side Remix here at Auto Club Speedway on the Turn 3 Racing Network. And if you haven't already, throw these drivers a thumbs up, click subscribe, and smash that bell over there on the right-hand side. Get notified anytime we go live here on the Turn 3 Racing Network, whether it's myself, Darkside Dave in the Cave, or anybody else back at the Turn 3 headquarters. We do appreciate each and every one of you, each and every time you stop by, whether you're just sliding through to say hey, or you are the dedicated fan, friend, or family. We do appreciate you each and every time you stop by, and each and every one of you every time you say hi. And well, Jess, as I said in the pre-race there, I beat you to it tonight. First on board with the Cray train. I don't even know if that's a thing, but I may have just started something. Good to see a few other people checking in over there on the chat, over there on the YouTube side of things. Glad you all could join us. Jonathan Winrich continues to lead the race, and it looks like Ron Schutte may have had a little bit of a connection issue there. So we're going to jump back up to this 3-truck battle between John McMillan Jr., Edward Bray, and Caden Atkins. That's 4th, 5th, 6th on the track. Jason Erson still running in that 7th spot, and Lee Staples has slowly begun to close in on these drivers battling for a spot inside the top 5. And I tell you what, we haven't gone to it yet. Let's go down to one of our gyro cameras right here on board with that 66 of Edward Bray on the inside of the 15. John McMillan Jr. looking to keep it high side, high, wide, and handsome through 3 and 4. Will he be able to keep Bray behind? Great camera shots here tonight, and I tell you what, let's take another little look-see backwards at the drivers that he is running next to. Edward Bray finally able to take that spot away from John McMillan Jr. Oh, close off of 2. Close off of 4. I apologize. The 2 of Caden Atkins right there closing in. Jason Erson still on the hot shoe on his way up through the field. Battle side by side still going on for that 4th and 5th position on track. Edward Bray and John McMillan Jr. Neither one of these drivers are willing to give in just yet. They're still hot and heavy on that throttle. Looks like a battle for that second spot beginning to develop, beginning to heat up. There you can see that 86 of Alan Young running the high side, as it looks like Todd Cray, he's got his truck set up for a little bit of a longer run here after some green flag pit cycles. Looks like Cray beginning to close that distance, and look where Cray is running, still running that very same line we have seen him run the entire night here as these drivers make their way through some back markers. Andy Starcher, one of those drivers right here with these front runners. So there you can see that 19 struggling here tonight, being scored. The first driver one lap down in that 21st position. So Starcher praying for a caution at this point in time. And there you can see just off in the foreground now, disappearing out of your picture, that was your race leader, last week's race winner, Ken Winrich. Make it back-to-back race nights here in the Performance Motorsports Truck Series. We'll have to wait and see how it all shakes out, how it all works itself down by the end of tonight's race at lap number 110. Drivers, it's a close little battle. It's very hard to keep track of exactly the point spread, where drivers need to finish and still be able to make their way in if this driver finishes here and this driver finishes there. But all these drivers, I would say from about the 7th position all the way to about 15th to 16th, maybe even 18th out there. Andy Starcher was one of those drivers that was slotted inside the top 10. He does appear that he's running in a good enough spot here tonight to secure his chase spot. But anywhere from about that, I would say, yeah, that 8th, 9th spot on the point standings back to about 15th, maybe 17th. Those are the drivers that we have to keep our eye on. Those are the drivers that need the solid runs, and one bad move could end your night and could very well end your championship hopes and dreams here tonight from sunny California. That's right, it's Auto Club Speedway for the West Side Remix in the Performance Motorsports Truck Series. The 86 of Alan Young able to make his way through those back markers and able to step away just a little bit now from that 21 of Todd Cray as gaps starting to develop between your top three. We'll jump back to a battle for the 7th and 8th spot on track. There you can see that 62 of Stephen Ayers Jr. running, running in the 22nd position. Ayers is listed one lap down just behind Andy Starcher, running in that 21st spot, but he's in good company right now, staying in tow, staying in touch with Caden Atkins as well as Jason Ayrson and Lee Staples. Small little handful of groups all throughout this raceway. There you can see right now Ayrson and Caden Atkins very close, touch and go, racing down the front stretch and into turn number 1. Ayrson gonna take 2 spots here that time, last time by. Lee Staples looks to put that 5 machine one spot further up through the field. Can he get the job done? Staples looking for 7. Gonna jump back here, battle just outside of your top 15. There you can see the 13 of Ryan Douglas. Ryan Branchew in the 6th. Right there in the 16th spot. Timothy Smith a little bit further behind, about 3 seconds behind for position. That was not Timothy Smith that you seen on screen right there. I do believe that very well may be. Let's see, I can't really see the number on the side of that machine. but it looks like that very well may be Chris Scala in the 11, as Stephen Ayers Jr. brings his machine to pit road. Timothy Smith as well as Jonathan Holston, they come to pit road as well. Drivers hitting pit road as soon as that fuel window opens, and we have seen them go right around 30 laps before they needed to come down pit road, so not quite sure what this strategy is. Don't think they're going to have enough fuel to get all the way to the end. Stopping right here. We'll have to wait and see how long your race leaders stay out there on the track, but now battle side by side. Ryan Douglas and Ryan Branchew for a spot inside the top 15. Nick Hunt gonna pull the 00 Popeyes machine down to pit road. He's gonna need some spinach here tonight, so look for 4 tires and fuel and 5 cans of that good spinach for Nick Hunt to try to pump in that Popeyes 00 machine and try to see if he can't somehow find the front. Todd Cray gonna bring his 21 to pit road. So one of your top drivers running inside that top 3, Todd Cray, gonna bring his 21 to pit road. Looks like Ryan Branchew gonna come to pit road this time by as well. So multiple drivers out there looking for that undercut, looking for the short pit here tonight. What will your race leader, Winrich, do? He's gonna stay out on track. Alan Young looks to stay out on track, as well as John McMillan Jr. Actually, Jr. pulling off a pit road right now, just at the last moment. Caden Atkins gonna come this time as well. 35 laps remaining here tonight from Auto Club Speedway in the West Side 110 for the Performance Motorsports Truck Series right here in Swift. That's right, season number 2, race number 10, now more than right at about, I would say, maybe 3/4 of the way through tonight's race. And drivers, man, I tell you what, it has been a hot and heavy battle all over the speedway all night long. Multiple different race leaders here tonight, multiple different green flag pit stops. We had ourselves just one caution on the speedway here tonight, and it was quite a little lackadaisical, lazy little spin contact between 2 teammates after one of them was pretty much sideways all on his own. Kind of some unavoidable incident there for Nick Hunt, so that 00 was involved in our first and only caution. And we have been green and clean since the drop of the restart way back on about, I believe that was lap 25 or 26 that we seen that very first and only caution of the evening, as Winrich gonna stay out on track. Continuing to extend this run, Jason Harrison, David Cameron, and Andy Starcher down to pit road. Michael Atkins Jr. brings his 41 machine down to pit road as well. And here you can see Todd Cray. Cray already down to pit road, has those 4 fresh tires as well as a full tank of gas, and he is on the gas all over your race leader. He's going to unlap himself the good old-fashioned way. So look for Cray to put himself back on the lead lap. What does your race leader do this time by? Does he slow for pit road? Yes, he does. On the binders, no smoke, no lockup. Good entry to pit road. Alan Young going to follow suit and bring his machine to pit road. Edward Bray, Lee Staples also to pit road this time by. That's going to leave John McMillan Sr. out there, and nope, he's going to go ahead and come to pit road as well. Gonna jump back with your highest running driver that has already hit pit road for his what may be his very final stop of the race. Can Todd Cray pull the undercut here? About 5 lap fresher tires. He was out there putting down some lightning quick times. Will it be enough? Down from the pit box goes Winrich. He makes his way off of pit road. Now can he get up to speed in time? Cray up to third now, all the way to second. There you can see that 30 of Winrich still trying to dig on the bottom and get up to speed. Not going to be able to do it, and Todd Cray going to take that top spot away. Look at the gap being gained. Already now just about 1 second separates Todd Cray after a big-time pit stop. Man, when it was time, Todd Cray and his crew got the job done, but don't count out Winrich just yet. That 30 has been bad fast all race long and still right around 20, right on the cusp of about 30 laps remaining here tonight. So still a very long way to go for these drivers to get the job done. And you gotta ask yourself, do they really have enough fuel to get to the end? By my calculations, looks like they're gonna be about 5 to 6 laps short on making it to the end here with this fuel run. So look for some of these drivers possibly to come back down pit road very early here, get a quick splash, and get back out there without changing the tires. We'll have to keep our eyes peeled down there on pit road as some of these battles begin to dissipate, begin to go away after we've had ourselves 3 rounds of green flag pit cycles over there on the left-hand side of your screen. There you can see how these drivers are all running here tonight. Todd Cray back at the point. He's got Josh Winrich in tow. John McMillan Jr. with a solid run also, but Alan Young gonna take that 3rd spot away. Now just a half a second back for the race lead. Winrich closing in. Oh, we heard contact with that outside wall. Oh my goodness, that 28 of Ron Schutte. Hard contact with the outside wall, and Schutte gonna go back 1 lap down. There you can see Timothy Smith and his 37 machine not very far off in front of these 2 drivers still battling for the race lead. Todd Cray gonna have it at the line. Winrich looking for it by the entry of turn 1, side by side once again, and Cray gonna yield that top spot to Winrich. New race leader once again on lap number 82 out of turn number 2. The 30 of Josh Winrich takes that top spot back away. Small little battle back here for 3rd and 4th. Alan Young slotted in just in front of Jonathan McMillan Jr. right there running in that 4th spot. Both of these drivers up 2 positions from where they started tonight's race. Young started back in 5th, and McMillan Jr. back in the 6th spot. Now they're running 3rd and 4th respectively on the track. And speaking of John McMillan Sr., let's go back and highlight this driver right here. Biggest mover of the race here tonight, now running in the 11th spot, up 16 spots from where he started tonight's race. So he is your biggest mover of the race. Looking for some battles on the speedway? Why don't we go to this one right here? There you can see Edward Bray in the 66 closing in some distance on Michael Atkins Jr. And that 41 was running strong the entire race. That last round of pit stops had a little bit of trouble, and unfortunately that has put him way behind the field. Your race leader Josh Winrich now 10, almost 11 seconds in front of Michael Atkins Jr., who was battling for that top spot with Winrich earlier tonight. So just like that, flip of the switch, and Atkins Jr. drops through the field. And as we begin to slowly inch our way closer towards the end of tonight's race, do want to take a moment to highlight a few of the drivers here. And why don't we go up front here with your race leader, Josh Winrich. right there on your screen. That 30 Toyota Tundra, man, has been fast week in and week out. Last week, rejoined the field and put it at the top of the speed charts. Walked away with the race win. So heck of a job there by Winrich. And he looks to repeat the process here tonight. Driver in that second spot. There you can see the 21 of Todd Gray is your points leader coming into tonight's final regular season race. Looks like he is going to be able to secure that regular season point championship. In Cray done so in fashion. Only driver to go to victory lane multiple times here in the Performance Motorsports Truck Series so far this season, in season number 2. Cray to victory lane 4 times, but on the outside looking in here tonight. Another driver that has been to victory lane. There you can see Dalton, New Hampshire's very own Alan Young slotted in that third spot. Young coming into tonight's race in a very solid position. Second in the points. He'll make his championship run in 2 weeks when we get things fired off at Homestead Miami Speedway. John McMillan Jr. late on the scene here in Performance Motorsports Truck Series, but has made a big-time impression and has made a big-time gain through the field and up inside your top 5 here tonight, and that very well may put him up inside that top 12. We'll have to wait to see how all the points shake out, but John McMillan Jr. very close to making his way into the chase after a very late start. Jason Ayrson, also one of those drivers looking to secure a chase spot. 3 wide behind Ayrson. Oh my goodness. Ayrson came into tonight's race sitting right there, 6th in points, so a good solid spot for that JB Motorsports driver Ayrson to make his way into the chase and chase his championship hopes and dreams. Drivers battling just behind them. Look at this. Caden Atkins, Edward Bray, and Michael Atkins Jr. all battling that 6th, 7th, and 8th on the speedway. All 3 of those drivers slotted in a very good spot in the points coming into tonight's race. So just kind of battling amongst themselves, if you will. All 3 of these drivers pretty much locked in with their chances at a championship run. Do want to keep our eye, as we said, though, on this man right here, John McMillan Sr. doing the thing here tonight. He's got himself an 8.7 second advantage over the driver behind him, Jonathan Holston, running in that 12th spot. So John McMillan Sr. able to really focus out front, really dial the truck in and try to make up a few more spots and try to give himself the best opportunity that he can to make his way into that chase contention. Lee Staples, another one of those drivers that was kind of on the bubble, kind of on the outside looking in. Staples with a solid run here tonight inside of your top 10, running in the 9th position here. So he's giving his championship chances a shot in the arm, and we'll see if he can't get the job done by the end of this thing. And it looks like Stephen Ayers Jr. going to bring his machine down to pit road for the final time. So as I said, drivers not going to have enough fuel in the tanks to make it all the way to the end. And man, oh man, look at this. We'll go back to the front. Look at Todd Cray. He has lost a ton of ground now, 5 seconds, almost 6 seconds behind your race leader, Josh Winrich, as Jonathan Holston peels off for pit road. Are we seeing that 21 attempt to save enough fuel? And nope, he's going to go ahead and peel off, come to pit road for the undercut. How long will he be on pit road? This is going to be the big tell all. Jason Ayrson also brings his 44 down as Lee Staples brings the 5 in as well. Ryan Branchew, Nick Hunt, and Timothy Smith also to pit road this time by. Jim Thorndike going to join the drivers down there. It's a pit road party here at Auto Club. Jim Ott into the outside wall. Coming into the camera shot, and Jim Ott into that outside wall. That has not been very friendly here tonight to that for Auto Owners Insurance. Man, that Chevy, the right side of Jim Ott's Auto Owners Insurance Chevy Silverado looks like it has seen quite a bit of better days. And it does look like it was a full fuel stop for Todd Cray onto pit road for 15 seconds flat in his box. He'll make his way back onto pit road, so that's going to put the pressure on these drivers that have yet to hit pit road. As we got this latest round of green flag pit stops, now down to just 8 drivers on the lead lap. Todd Cray listed as the first driver down off of the lead lap, 1 lap down in that lucky dog position. So should we get a caution now, it could wreak havoc on the field as Alan Young, John Jr. both come to pit road. Edward Bray in the 66 also going to peel off this time by. That's going to give John Winrich a little bit more gap to play with. Is he going to try to stretch this run at all? Maybe try to have a shorter stop on the pit road as he enjoys a 11.5 second advantage over Michael Atkins Jr. now running back in that second spot. John McMillan Sr. going to move into a podium spot. Senior up 24 spots now, running in the 3rd position. Big time jumble up through this field here as we've got a lot of different drivers on a lot of different fuel strategy here. We'll go ahead, I tell you what, why don't we go ahead and throw up some of that strategy for you so you can follow along and tell me just how confusing it is right there. There you can see drivers mixing it up on the fuel runs, 23, then 6, then 25, 23, upwards of 17 now for your race leader. As there you can see Todd Cray only 18 laps on his tires, and he came back down to pit road for more fuel and tires. As Josh Winrich, bit of a moment there, trying to come to pit road. He's seen enough. His crew chief calls him down. What will the rest of the field do as Cray got himself back on the lead lap? We're going to keep our eye right here because I'm telling you, Todd Cray, he has been fast all night long and new. Fastest lap of the race being set that last time by and crushing the other one by almost a full tenth. Cray goes sub 42s to a 41.94, fastest lap of the race for that 21. Coming on strong right when the time is needed, Todd Cray, fastest on the track, running in the 4th position now. John McMillan Sr., Caden Atkins, and John Winrich barely in front of Cray right now as Cray gonna blast past Winrich as he is slowly getting up to speed. There you can see Renwich off in the distance trying to get up to speed, and will Cray get there? He's closing in, and he's got company. He's got some friends that very well may help him get there to Renwich. Looks like he may get stuck behind some back markers here. That's going to end the run for Cray. He's only going to get within 2 seconds of your race leader, so look for Renwich to extend this race lead as 3 wide with the 2nd place driver Todd Cray at the bottom. I say 2nd place because your top 2 have yet to hit pit road for the final time, and they absolutely are not going to be able to stretch it that far, giving up a little bit of ground behind those back markers. That 2-second lead now grows to 2.3. Side-by-side battle back there. That is between Ryan Douglas and I believe that is Brian Hitz in the 22 Ford F-150 just in front of that 13 of Douglas, battling just behind Todd Cray. John Winrich right there, 2.5 seconds now in front of Todd Cray. So the attempt at the undercut, the attempt at the short pit almost worked out, almost panned out, but Cray getting stuck behind some back markers and not able to close that distance, and that's going to allow Winrich to just kind of step away as a new fastest lap comes out on the speedway. Fastest lap of the race right there for Michael Atkins Jr. Quick time going to be a 41.89 for the race, and that is smashing that pole award winning time by almost 0.2 of a second. John McMillan Sr. finally bringing his 75 down the pit road, so that will give the eventual race lead to this man right here. Well and clean, in clean air right now. Winrich crosses the line, takes that top spot back. New race leader with just 11 laps remaining in tonight's West Side Remix 110. Looking through the timing and scoring, we do have a few small battles, 2 to be exact. We'll jump outside of your top 5. There you can see Jason Ayerson and Edward Bray. They're battling for some spots on the track, and you might as well go ahead and throw Michael Atkins Jr. into that mix. So that 41 just about 0.2 off in front of Jason Ayerson. So we've got 3 trucks lined up for position as Jim Ott has had some trouble, had to stay on pit road for an extended stay, and Ott gonna fall outside of your top 20 all the way in to the 22nd spot, but luckily enough, he very well may be able to fall back on some points. We'll have to wait to see how it all shakes out as 10 laps remain before we will set the field for the chase. Who's gonna get those 12 spots to vie for their championship hopes and dreams? We already know a few of those drivers that are going to be able to. Cray Young, Atkins, as well as Atkins Jr., Jim Thorndike, Jason Ayerson, and Nick Hunt, all the very safe drivers. Edward Bray looks to be running very well and secure his spot as he's running in that 7th position. Gonna take our look back here at Andy Starcher. In a little bit of trouble, may very well fall out of this one as Sebastian Guggen came in behind Starcher in the points, but sitting now in front of him on the track by 5 positions. So Starcher, one of those drivers that's going to be very, very close, even after Starcher went to victory lane here. I believe he has went to victory lane in the Truck Series, and no, I do apologize, he has not. So this battle going to go away just a little bit. We'll jump back to this battle now. 2nd and 3rd on the speedway. Alan Young sitting right there in the 86 machine. He's beginning to close in on Todd Cray down the backstretch. Right on that rear deck lid of Todd Cray. And why don't we go ahead and give you a little backwards camera action. There you can see looking back at that 86 of Alan Young, just about a half a lane lower than Todd Cray, and you can hear Cray's engine just doesn't seem to be up full song. Look at the driver inside of that 86. There's a look in right there. If you've ever seen one, full focus, you can see those hands moving on the wheel as he tries to get up there and take that spot away, tries to grab that 2nd spot from Todd Cray. Gonna do so. Nobody in front now. He can set his sights on Josh Winrich, but I'm not sure he's going to be able to make up 4.7 seconds in just 7 laps. Going to be a very tall task to complete, but I'm sure he's going to give it a go anyway. Alan Young puts his 86 into that 2nd spot. Battle for a position on the track off of the lead lap outside of your top 10. Here you can see David Cameron, Ryan Branchu, Brian Hitz. Go ahead Well, no, Ryan Douglas sitting about 1.5 seconds behind this race lead. There you can see, I believe that is the no, that is not the 69, maybe possibly the 62, I think, possibly right there running just behind these drivers, continuing to battle for position on the track. Brian Hitz in that 22 Ford F-150 looking for a spot on Branchew, but Branchew running strong in that 6 Serv Pro Chevy Silverado. High five for your race leader that time by 5 laps remaining here from Auto Club Speedway and Performance Motorsports Truck Series. Looking for some battles near the front of this field, not seeing anyone closer than the one on the screen right now. Battle going on for the 14th and 15th spot on the track, just outside of your top 10. Obviously, it's 14th and 15th, but also off of the lead lap. These drivers mixing it up, lap in, lap out. It has been some crazy racing action here tonight as the field continues to wind down things on tonight's race, continues to wind things down on the regular season. We will crown a regular season champion here tonight, and it does indeed look like Todd Cray, even though he's in that third and final podium spot, he is going to sew up that regular season championship, give himself a couple extra points when the field gets reset for the championship run. So it's right around the corner. Who's going to get there and who's going to go home crying with their championship dreams stolen and turned to nightmares here tonight? Just 3 laps remain for your race leader. Dominating performance once again for Josh Winrich out there with that top spot. He's got 5.6 seconds separating himself from Alan Young, then another second back to Todd Cray. So absolutely stepping away from the field halfway down the backstretch, heading in to turn 3. Gonna see popsicle sticks on display, this time by just 2 laps remaining for your race leader. That battle between Brian Hitz and Ryan Branchew still hot and heavy, about 1/2 second separating those two drivers still as they continue to go at it. Gonna keep ourselves right here with the race leader as he works his way into some more back markers. Gonna have to make sure he navigates through here smoothly and cleanly as they're off in the distance. You could barely see him, but Alan Young is there. Todd Cray right there as well. Should something catastrophic happen to your race leader right here in that Sirius XM 84 machine off of pit road, the Toyota Tundra gonna come towards the line. White flag in the air. Final lap here tonight from Auto Club Speedway in the Performance Motorsports Truck Series, right here on your home network for everything Swift. It's the West Side Remix 110. Your race leader, Josh Winrich. Nobody around, nobody gonna get to him. He's only his worst enemy at this point in time. Gotta make it through 2 more corners into 3 for the final time. Nobody gonna contend for this one. Winrich gonna walk away with back-to-back race winning weeks here in Swift Motorsports in the Performance Motorsports Truck Series, and he joins just the one other driver to do that all season long. Only Todd Cray has visited victory lane multiple times, and now Winrich gonna be the next driver to put his name in the books twice this season. And what a season it has been here, coming to a conclusion of the regular season here in season number 2 for the Performance Motorsports Truck Series, right here on the Turn 3 Racing Network. What a run it was out there tonight, race fans. What a way to end the regular season with a back-to-back race winner. So as Winrich brings his machine around, we're going to step away for just a brief commercial break, get things set up for your post-race interviews. So don't go anywhere, ladies and gentlemen. We will be right back.
You wanted the best, you got him 4 abreast. Often imitated, never duplicated. The greatest show on dirt, the World of Outlaws.
With the Butt Kicker Gamer 2, what you see and what you hear is what you feel. Butt Kicker. The future is feeling.
back trackside for your post-race interviews after another fine installment of racing here in the Performance Motorsports Truck Series. After all the twists and turns were thrown at these truck drivers, having to pack up, go cross-country, all the way from Indianapolis Motor Speedway right here to Auto Club Speedway for the makeshift Westside Remix 110. These truck drivers put on one heck of a show out there tonight. And with all that being said, why don't we see if we can catch in with a driver that walked away in the third place here tonight. Let's see if we can't catch in a few words with a championship contender. He went ahead and solidified that a little bit earlier in the season, but now it is official. Todd Cray, it's Dave in the booth. You got a copy?
Hey, Dave. Got you, bud.
Hey, man. Well, first and foremost, I want to say I beat Jess in the chat today, so I win.
All right, that's a first place for Dave tonight.
Right? There you go. Yeah. Anyways, man, a little bit of fun here before some seriousness.
Yeah.
Man, third place tonight. You had a strong truck all night long. Looked like you tried some strategy out there. Did the back markers play any role in that last little green flag run that you attempted?
No, not really. I mean, our race was doomed right from the start. I jumped in the truck, didn't adjust none of my settings. So, it was a long night. I knew right from the start it was going to be a long night. So we just needed to hit our pit stop, stay up in the top 5, not make no big mistakes. I mean, we were pushing like a truck. But, yeah, it's just one of those nights. Not happy with the finish. But, the guys are fast up here and make little mistakes. This is what happens. So I got to tighten up for championship for sure.
Well, speaking of the championship, and as we already said here, a few weeks ago, you pretty much solidified your slot in the chase. You were going to have some catastrophic failures there coming down those last 3 or 4 races here. But looking forward, we head to Miami, Kansas, Kentucky. Out of those 3 races here that we're going to round out the month of March with, which one of those 3 do you think may be your best, and which one may be the worst?
I'd probably say Kentucky's probably going to be my best, and probably Miami probably be my worst. So I put some time in there. Now it's serious. Tonight, we wanted to just finish up with that regular season points championship, and so had to play a little easy. But yeah, Kentucky, Kansas, real good tracks for us. We're gonna put in some more time practicing this week and get things right because. Yeah, I enjoy talking to you, but I usually like to do it last.
Absolutely. I can understand. I mean, it's always good to talk to Dave, but people do like being the one with the last word.
Good night, good night. I can't complain. It's just one of those nights. I mean, there was a lot of guys on the lead lap. I mean, one mistake, anything on pit road, a wall slap, anything could have happened there and would have opened up for the regular season championship. So, sometimes you just got to do it that way. It's not really our style, but like I said, we're ready to come back.
Well, Todd, man, it's been a pleasure with you all season long. Talk to you multiple times all throughout the year, and we look forward to continuing that trend when the chase starts. And, man, before we let you go and enjoy the third place and enjoy knowing that you're probably still going to be at the top there when the chase starts at Homestead, you want to give any shout-outs, thank yous, love yous, thank anybody on the 21 or anybody you forgot all season?
Just stick with Performance Motorsports and Swift Motorsports and Turn 3 Racing Network, Infinite Hero, Clocks by Christopher, Pets in Paradise, People Against Distracted Driving, Jess, she's out there tonight. Throw it out there to her. And that's about it, fellas. Got to get back to the grind.
All right, Todd. Well, we'll see you in 2 weeks, I'm sure.
All right, Dave. Thank you.
There you have it. Last words from Todd Cray, finishing in third tonight in the Westside Remix 110. Todd was able to secure that regular season championship with the third place finish here tonight. So Cray going to look a little bit sweeter heading into what he said was his worst track out of the first 3 that we hit in the chase. And that chase will be whittled down after the first 2. So Cray, not like in Homestead, the very first race, he's going to have to get the job done. And, well, we'll just have to wait and see how it all shakes out here in 2 weeks. And with that being said, we're going to go ahead and see if we can't check in and grab in a few words with the driver that walked away second here today and also walking away second in the regular season point standings. Alan Young, it's Dave in the booth. You got a copy?
Gotcha.
Hey, man, another solid finish for you. How you feeling?
Feeling good. That's the way we wanted to end the regular season. I mean, we wanted to win, but the middle part of the race didn't go our way. Pit strategy, and we'll definitely take a P2 finish and go into the chase, and hopefully run strong and hopefully come out on top.
Well, as you said there, hopefully this translates over into the regular into the postseason, the chase. We start things off at Homestead Miami Speedway. Only 2 races before we cut some of the drivers from the field. First race is Homestead. Second race, I believe, is Kansas. How are you feeling about round 1?
I feel okay. We're definitely gonna go and put some work in and test at both places and just make sure we're ready. Homestead's been all right to me in the past, so we'll see what happens. Kansas, I've been hit or miss, so that's probably going to be the one we're definitely going to hit the most. So,
all right, Alan. Well, again, my man, it's been a pleasure catching up with you all throughout the year, man. Solid runs all year. Mr. Consistency, if there was a trophy for that, I believe it would probably end up going to you, one of the more consistent drivers all throughout the regular season. So hats off with a great regular season, but now it's time to shift gears and see if we can't get you through the chase and into those championship contenders at the end of this thing. So, Alan, congratulations on the second place here tonight. Before we let you go, though, would you like to give any shout-outs, thank yous, love yous, thank anybody back home in Dalton?
Yeah, I'd like to thank my mom, my dad, my brother, who is also the Young Guns Creation owner and proud sponsor of this 86 Chevy Silverado. Can't forget my kids, Lucas and Haley. And then my main sponsor, FSM Customs. They came on board brand new this year, and I'm making them proud. And also the guys at LA Sim Sport, Lee, Ed, John, and Tim, who's brand new. We put in the work, and we're going to go give it our all.
All right, Alan. Well, we got ourselves a week off, so get yourself some rest, get yourself some sim time, and we'll look forward to catching up with you at Homestead.
Can't wait.
All right, there you have it. Final parting words from the driver in that 86 machine, Alan Young, the 29-year-old, gonna finish second on the night here tonight in the West Side Remix 110, race number 10 of the season number 2 for Performance Motorsports. And Young gonna finish second in the point standings in the regular season. He'll have his shot for a championship here in the next coming weeks, and we'll get to some of that here in just a brief moment. But now on to the man that walked away with the top spot, walked away with back-to-back race wins. Josh Winrich, it's Dave in the booth. You got a copy? Hey, Josh, it's Dave in the booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, got you guys.
Hey, man, how you feeling after your second race win in as many races?
Yeah, it was fun. It's fun racing in this league. It's fun racing with guys that can race hard, give you some room, and just run consistent laps. Definitely no fun when you have a bunch of caution laps. So it's pretty cool to have that many green flag stops and just get into a big long rhythm.
Now, I want to talk to you a minute about the switch of venues. Earlier, we were scheduled to be running at Indianapolis, but things happened out of our control, and unfortunately having to switch the venue here to Auto Club. How difficult was it to switch the mindset, knowing that you may have prepared for Indy for a week or longer, knowing that just like that, we've got to cross the country and head to an entirely different layout?
It's not too bad. I really enjoy running those racetracks like Montana that have cut my tire fall off, ton of wear, ton of slipping and sliding. So, places like that, Rockingham, Richmond, those types of racetracks just kind of kind of lend themselves to my driving style. So I was happy about it. Fontani, there's 2 or 3 lanes you can race. So yeah, I didn't mind. I was looking forward to it, and all those top 4, 5, 6 guys really raced hard and raced clean. So it's nice to have that many green flag stops.
Absolutely. Well, you mentioned you like some of those tracks you get to kind of slide around a little bit on. Kansas, Kentucky coming up very soon. Homestead can be a little bit twitchy on the rear end of these Performance Motorsports Truck Series machines. So three likely races that we very well may be able to catch up with you in victory lane again. Do you think you've got what it takes to snag another victory here in the last 5 races that we're going to have?
Yeah, hopefully so. Kentucky's never a place that I look forward to racing. So I'd say Homestead for sure. Honestly, I haven't really run Kansas much. Haven't done a whole lot of rim riding at Kansas, so that's an entirely different skill set. So yeah, I mean, places like Homestead where you gotta really manage your right front tire on entry and manage your right rear tire on exit is really fun. So yeah, hopefully. I mean, I didn't. Cram and Austin last week definitely had us covered. Just managed to win that one on circumstance, and felt pretty good in this one night. So yeah, you never know. So much is about how cautions fall. So yeah, I mean, it's just fun racing with these guys, and hopefully we can get 1 or 2 more here on these last few races.
All right, Josh. Well, once again, my man, congratulations on back-to-back race-winning performances here. You're only the 2nd driver all season to have multiple victories, and to do it back-to-back, you're doing it in style, that is for sure. So congratulations on not just the race win, but being just the 2nd driver to have multiple wins on the season. So with all that being said, before we let you go, would you like to give any shout-outs, thank yous, love yous, thank anybody on that 30 before you go celebrate?
Yeah, I thank Ron Sudi and Austin Hill for getting me hooked up, and Justin Gann too for getting me hooked up in this league and let me come race. So it's pretty fun to do, and hopefully we can do some more of it.
All right, my man. Well, we'll look forward to catching up with you throughout the rest of the season. You go and enjoy this win.
All right, thanks, guys.
Well, there you have it. Final words from your race winner here tonight from the West Side Remix 110 right here in Performance Motorsports Truck Series. Josh Wurinwich gonna take that top spot and take a back-to-back race winning nights here in the Performance Motorsports Truck Series. And that's quite a big accomplishment. As I've already said, only one other driver has been able to do that all season long, and that has been Todd Cray, and he walked away with 4 race wins. Will we see Cray go back to victory lane? Still a little bit of time to decide all of that, as we do have a 1-week layoff for these drivers to get their minds right, for them to reset and switch the race mode back on and go championship racing down there in Homestead, Miami Speedway. So multiple drivers able to finally make their way into the chase, and it does indeed look like we do have a few drivers out there that do have those championship spots already figured out. As a matter of fact, we will run down that here in just a brief moment for you, but first, let's go ahead and run down some of your other official business here for you if we can. Looks like producers are getting everything stacked up and ready to go. So why don't we go ahead and read these notes right here. Wanted to give a big shout out to all of these drivers in the Performance Motorsports Truck Series. Some of the finest truck racing out there on the iRacing.com stable or platform, I should say. If you think you've got what it takes to put it down on the track with these drivers, why don't you head on over to Swift Motorsports right there on Facebook.com, as well as the iRacing.com league directories. Check them out. I promise you, once you get hooked up and you get out here with these drivers on any of their series under the Swift Motorsports umbrella, I promise you, you will not be disappointed. Some of the best racing out there and around right here on iRacing.com. And it sounds like producers hitting those buttons, so indeed, it's time to run down tonight's unofficial race results for the West Side Remix 110, race number 10 in the books for season number 2 of Performance Motorsports Truck Series, and walking away with that race win, the 30 of Josh Winrich. Alan Young gonna walk away second on the track here tonight, and Todd Cray gonna slot that 2021 home in the third position. Fourth place goes to John McMillan Jr. Michael Atkins Jr. gonna round out your top 5. The 44 of Jason Ayrson gonna slot home in 6th, while Edward Bray finishes in 7th. 8th place goes to Lee Staples in the 5, while Jim Thorndike brings his 59 home in the 9th spot, and Caden Atkins, your pole sitter here tonight, having some trouble. Not a very good run through the center of tonight's race. The 2 gonna finish in the 10th spot. 75 of John McMillan Sr. walking away in 11th, while Jonathan Holston finishes in 12th. 13th finishing position goes to David Cameron, while Ryan Branchew pilots that 6 machine into the 14th spot. Brian Hitz finishes 15th. Ryan Douglas finishes back in 16th. 17th spot goes to the 00 of Nick Hunt, and Braun Schutte with the 18th finishing spot. 19th on the track here tonight, the 37 of Timothy Smith, followed by the 84 of Sebastian Guggen. 21st spot goes to the 69 of Larry Poling after some trouble with that outside wall. The 4 of Jim Ott gonna finish 2 laps down, back in the 22nd position. Stephen Ayers Jr. gonna walk away from the track in 23rd, while Andy Starcher had some issues and finishes in 24th. Shane Bliss gonna finish in 25th, while Jimmy Cormier gonna pilot his 95 home in the 26th spot. Chris Scala gonna walk away in 27th. 28th goes to Matthew Highmore, and a big time shout out to race control and race officials up there, getting all of these drivers straight and keeping them straight all night long. Jarrett Lipster, as well as Gary Wells, big tip of the cap for not everything that you've just done here tonight, but everything you've done all throughout the regular season. And we look forward to a great post-race season here in just 2 weeks when we fire things back up at Homestead Miami Speedway. And well, we said we had some other official business for you. Why don't we go ahead and give you some of that information? Unfortunately, not having a graphic to put it up there on screen for you, but your Championship 12 looks a little something like this. Jason Ayrson, Caden Atkins, Michael Atkins Jr., as well as Ryan Branchew. Edward Bray also going to make his way into a chase spot. Todd Cray, we already knew he was going to be there. Brian Hitz makes his way in as well. Nick Hunt, Lee Staples, Andy Starcher, Jim Thorndike, and Alan Young will walk away as your Championship 12, vying for their hopes and dreams at lifting the big trophy at the end of the season here in season number 2 for Performance Motorsports Truck Series. And well, if you haven't already, throw these drivers a thumbs up, click subscribe, and smash the bell over there on the right-hand side. Get notified anytime we go live here on the Turn 3 Racing Network. Whether it's myself, Darkside Dave in the Cave, or anybody else back at the Turn 3 headquarters, we do appreciate each and every one of you each and every time you stop by. And with all that being said, everything done at the track, new day, new year, stay safe, stay loved, my friends, and until next time, we'll meet you in Turn 3.